Thank you for joining us again on TVC Breakfast. The Defense Headquarters on Saturday has confirmed the killings of 16 military personnel, including 4 officers and soldiers, in a response mission in the Delta region where communal fighting occurred. Troops from the 181 Amphibious Battalion on a peace mission to the Ukwama community in Bomadi local government were surrounded and killed by youngsters, according to Defense Headquarters spokesperson Brigadier General Tuku Gusau, who says the unfortunate incident occurred when the troops responded to a distress call after the communal crisis between the Ukwama and Okoloba communities, both in Delta State. And he stated further that a reinforcement team led by a commanding officer was also attacked, bringing the number of military personnel killed to 16. And this number includes the commanding officer, that's as well as 2 majors, a captain, and 12 soldiers. The Chief of Defense Staff has now ordered a thorough investigation. Of course, the president has also spoken tough on this issue, calling for swift prosecution, swift action from the military in unraveling this mystery. To discuss this, we bring in now from Jos via Zoom, Melvin Ejeh. It's good to see you again. Thanks for joining us on TVC Breakfast. What are your thoughts about these killings?
Well, it's a very sad morning for me. Very, very sad morning for me, especially when human beings act like animals, act against the state, act against the country, and kill our soldiers in cold blood, soldiers who were not involved in the crisis, soldiers who only went to keep peace. It's very sad. So let me start by commending the President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, President Ahmed Bola Tinubu, the Chief of Defense Staff, the Chief of Army Staff, and the family of all those who lost their lives. My heart goes to them. And for me, it's actually very pathetic for me that, including the commanding officer, 2 majors, captain, and 12 soldiers were killed in cold blood for no offense of theirs. Soldiers who were sent to a community to keep peace, soldiers who were supposed to go and maintain peace. This is a national disaster. For me, I'm advocating for some days of national mourning, because it's a slap on the nation, it's a slap on our armed forces. In fact, the international community will laugh at us if nothing is done. This culprit must be brought to book immediately. The entire community must be aware that an act of injustice has been done to the Nigerian forces. And I am very proud of my president for giving such a very tall order, and I'm sure the Nigerian military will comply. It's a very sad day for me, honestly.
So, first of all, I understand that you're not in a happy mood regarding this situation, but let's try to mind what we say. Looking at all that has happened, that many people are concerned about the fact that the Odi and Zakebiam situation might reoccur in Delta State. Do you think this will be the case?
No, I think that will not be the case, because we have a president and the Chief of Defense Staff who are very mindful of the human rights violation. Mindful of human rights violation. They will be very mindful. I think they will go all out to get the culprit. They won't allow innocent civilians pay for this heinous crime of some senseless criminals who committed this act. While I may not excuse some community actors from this offense, let me be very honest with you. Let's not shy away from that truth that some community actors were involved. It's not just this criminal. This act was perpetrated with the help of some community actors. The act was perpetrated with the knowledge of some community actors. But I will urge the Defense Secretary to be very professional. They should go all out for those criminals and ensure that they are arrested. Them, their sponsors, and all the perpetrators are brought to book. The issue of OD and Zakibian may not happen because we have a democratic president. We have a president that respects human rights convention. We have the Chief of Defense Staff and Chief of Army Staff. They are very keen about human rights convention. I'm sure they will not go all out. They will not go all out to make sure they put innocent civilians in pain. I'm very sure about this.
Okay, so what more would you want the president to do, apart from the fact that he has called for an investigation into this matter?
I would want the president to declare some days of national mourning. They are national heroes. They deserve this honor. They deserve to be celebrated. They deserve to be mourned nationally. I think our flag should fly in half-mast for at least 3 days in honor of these gallant men who paid the ultimate price. These are soldiers whose welfare is bad. The president met a very bad army that have a very bad army in terms of welfare. He met an army where the welfare was grossly taken care of. President is just trying to bring up the army to the army that the Nigerians deserve, and you are killing them. For what basis will you? What basis are you killing them? What is their business in your conflict? They didn't take side. They are neutral parties who have come to ensure that peace reigns. So I think the president must declare some days of national mourning. It's a national disaster, and I think every arm of government must be aware that we lost some troops. And my major concern is this some international communities who are hypocrites in terms of this, in terms of human rights. Naturally, they would have been calling for probe. They would have been calling if it's the other way around. But as I speak to you now, I don't think any of them have spoken. International NGOs who are practically taking side with banditries, some of them have taken side with criminals in our country to destroy our country. Where are they today? Why are they not calling for the probe of people that killed the Nigerian soldiers? This can't happen anywhere in the world. It won't be tolerated. I'm telling you. So international NGOs are so biased. Where are they? Why are they not speaking out in condemnation of these guys that kill our military men? Why are they not calling for probe? Why are they not speaking on the language they used to speak if it's the other way around? We have one country, one army. This is the only national army we have. This is the only national asset we have.
Right, and let's do a bit of some backtrack now. What are your thoughts about, the motive behind these killings?
For me, I think the motive would just be criminality. The motive would just be demoralizing our armed forces, which, of course, I'm sure they can get it because our armed forces will remain resilient. Our armed forces will not be demoralized, even with these killings. The actual motive is criminality. They just want to cause a state of fear for members of our armed forces. Before now, I understand some incidents that happened in that similar community or nearby before where some policemen were killed. I don't have fact to this, but I'm sure people are saying that some incidents have happened. So this is almost like a recurring fact in that area where military men are killed in their cold blood while trying to keep peace. So the major idea is criminals and in collaboration with some actors in the community just demoralize our armed forces, just to make that place look ungovernable so that when there is a conflict, they won't come close. That's just the motive for me.
Right. And another leg to that question would be, the issue of, like you have also, said, these are two warring communities. Looking at the reported nature of this episode or this conflict now that warranted intervention by the soldiers, which now appeared to have, or which of course ended as an ill-fated mission. What do you think now? How do you think this will impact on the military's mission now to unravel the killers, looking at the communities involved?
Like I told you, the military they'll be more committed, they'll be resilient, and I'm sure it won't demoralize them. They have made up their mind to secure our country, and I think that's what they are doing. They won't be disturbed. They will still go back and ensure that peace reigns in those communities. That is what they are paid to do. That is what they are trained to do. And I'm sure our military men are so professional enough that they won't abandon the communities. They won't abandon their primary role because of what happened. They are very committed, and I'm sure they will still go there and ensure that peace is kept brought to those communities.
Okay, so looking at all you have said, do you think that the military have had possibly a cordial relation? I'm not trying to condone what the people have done. I'm actually not happy with what happened there. But what has come to mind is, has the security outfits sort of endeared themselves to the community in such a way that these kinds of things do not happen?
I think the military on their part, I see one of the platforms that are doing their best to ensure that they endear themselves to the communities across Nigeria, across the entire country. But we have some let me say some sentimental people who have made it their mind that they must always demonize our military. They must always blacklist them. They must always mistreat them. But the military are doing their best. What could they have done? They are our army. Why don't we own them? Our tax money is to pay them. We don't have any other army. This is one thing that I'm surprised about when Nigerians talk about the military as if we have another defense force. They remain our last line of defense. If we break the army, if we demoralize them, if we commonize them, international communities are watching us. Mind you, the world today is a global village. So what we do to our army depends on how the international community treats us. And I think we should be mindful of this fact. The military are doing their part. I'm sure the military would have carried out some civil intervention in this community and other communities in Delta State. The military would have tried to do several non-kinetic projects in this community and other communities in Nigeria, just like I'm seeing. So the military are always in the past. So the major bane is sentiment, political affiliation, and just mere hatred for our military. I think that's where the issue is. The military are doing their best to the community. They are trying so hard to ensure that they interact with the civil populace from their programs, from non-kinetic programs. They are mixing up with society. So why don't we embrace them as ours? They're not working for themselves. The people that died today are fathers, they are uncles, they are some of them are even maybe baby grandfathers. Some of them are unmarried. So why killing Nigerians? They are Nigerians too. They're just wearing uniform. So I think the military have done their best. It is left for the community now to own this post, to own the military. It's left for the community now to begin to own our army. That is the only way we can get it right. If we hate the army and the bandits and criminals hate us, where do we go from there? Why don't we befriend the armed forces to ensure that they secure us properly? Give them timely and actionable intelligence to ensure that the Nigeria is safe.
How do you think this will impact on, the military's operations across the country, not just, in the Niger Delta, but across the country? What are your concerns in this regard?
It's actually good. They are human, and of course they feel pain. They also have families that look up to them. So it's actually going to create some impression about the civilian populace among them. But I'm sure, like I said, our army is standing tall. Our military, our armed forces led by General Christopher Gwabi Musa will remain committed. They will remain confident in dealing with any issue across the country. I don't think it will take any toll on their operation. I don't think it will cause them to hate civilians. No, that's not true, because it is not all civilians that conspire to kill them in Delta State. It is some clique of criminals, aided by some community actors, aided by some sponsors. So I'm sure their morale is still high, and they're going to work as if nothing happened in this country.
Yes, the community is also said to have been raised. The residents have fled. Of course, like my colleague Theophilus said, now the memories of ODA are still, very fresh. And a number of Nigerians are even, in support of, a reprisal attack, even though you have said that you expect the military to be professional in its work on this matter. But with a deserted community that has also been raised, what happens now?
I do not have fact if the community was raised by the military. I do not have such fact, but I'm also very sure that this same criminal that perpetrated this act will also raise that community to give the military a bad name. One thing I'm sure the military is doing, the military are in the community to look for these bandits. So wherever the criminals are, the military should go all out for them. If they should do anything to ensure that these criminals are brought to justice. But I am not sure the military will start burning people's houses. I don't think the military will do that. The military are more professional than that. Those things flying on social media are coming out from some miscreants who also don't want our military, are coming out from some miscreants who want to discredit our communities. The military do not have any intention in bringing out the community. We have a civilized president, we have a civilized chief of defense staff, we have a civilized chief of army staff, and I'm sure they're going to be professional in dealing with this criminal. But any measure against the criminals, I will support it. Any measure against their sponsors, I will support it. And one thing again, I'm going to hammer on are some members of international communities and NGOs. Let me tell you a very brief scenario that happened recently. I was trying to do a program, a non-kinetic program, to de-radicalize youth in one part of this country. And we sent a request to one of the international NGOs for support, two of the international NGOs. Their response was very terrible, very unacceptable response. They told us that we are not eligible because we are supporting the Nigerian state and the security forces. What this means is that they want an NGO, they want an organization that will call out and be blackmailing the military and be blackmailing the country every day. I mean, what kind of thing is that? It's our country. I don't have another country. And we have no regret. We are going to be supporting our military where they do well. We are going to be bashing them where they get it wrong. But one thing we must do is that we have just one country, one army, one armed forces. And we cannot we cannot degenerate them for any reason, except where they are wrong, and we'll remind them properly that they are wrong. But until they do that, until they get it wrong, we will continue to praise them. We'll continue to tell their positive story. So that's the impression some international organizations have against the Nigerian army. And they are some of the people sponsoring some of these needless social media attacks, needless publications against our armed forces. Sometimes they don't even violate human rights. They want you to tell a story that they are human rights violators, and that is unacceptable. In our organization, we will never do that. So I'm sure the military are professionals. They will not be demoralized in this, and they will not go about burning people's houses. These houses are being burned by those criminals. They are being burned by some propagandists want to give military a bad name.
Okay, so earlier you had mentioned about the image of Nigeria in the international community. Just tell us, how does this situation affect our image abroad?
This situation will paint Nigeria as an unserious country if nothing is done. Look at what happened in Israel versus Gaza. You know what happened when some soldiers were killed. Now, every country will react when you kill its army. No country will take it lightly. The army are not chickens. They are our heroes. They should be protected. They are peacemakers. They have no business in your party. You cause your conflict and come and kill them. What's that? So every international community will look at us as an unserious country until something drastic is done. These culprits must be arrested, and their sponsors, I emphasize their sponsors and their sponsors and collaborators. They must all be brought to book, paraded on national television, and appropriately dealt with. The Nigerians must know, the international community must know the action that are taken against these criminals that killed our soldiers in cold blood. This is unacceptable. This is very, very unacceptable. So until that is done, the international community will not take us serious. But I want to just say that I'm very happy because of the clear directive the president has given, because of the clear directive the chief of defense staff has given, and the action the chief of army staff is taking to bring this culprit to book. They should go all out. They must search every nook and cranny of that community, every nook and cranny of the creeks, to ensure that these criminals are brought to book and face justice. And the judiciary also should do their part when they are eventually brought to the court, not to set any of them free when found wanting.
Right, and communal clashes, because after all, these are brethren from the same state and all of that, but they are rampant, and it doesn't just affect Niger Delta region now, even in, Jos, where you operate from, and you've been giving us crucial information about the violence there. Let's just look at, the broader picture, as in what kind of instigated this this unwarranted killings now, how they can snowball, thus communal clashes can snowball into deadly dimensions as we are seeing now. As a peace mediator, how do we find a way around this? How do we end this, at least to the barest minimum?
Communal clashes have a lot of dimensions. We have political, we have ethnic, we have religious, and we also have economic factors. These are several factors that cause communal clashes. But where it's snowballed into killing of one another is actually very unacceptable, and I think it should be condemned. And the community also must move to realize that they are one. The more you kill yourself, the more you destroy your asset, you are the one that is losing. Another issue that increase or that escalate communal clashes is lack of political will from government actors. So the governor of Delta State and all these actors must move swiftly to that community to ensure that peace is done. Maybe chieftain's title or something are part of the reason why we have communal clashes. So government must be proactive. State government must take decisive action to end these communal clashes. I may not have the exact fact that caused the crisis in Ukoma and the neighboring community who are fighting today, but I'm sure those factors I mentioned earlier are reasons why we have communal clashes. And the burden lies on the state government squarely and the local government to ensure that these issues are resolved. Sometimes economical, sometimes chieftaincy, sometimes political, and sometimes ethno-religious. So I think government must rise, state government at all levels must rise to ensure that these crises are nipped in the bud and the perpetrators are brought to book quickly.
Own view, what do you think should be done so that this kind of situation do not spread to other communities?
I think that's what I just mentioned earlier. The government must take charge. Why we crisis continue to linger in Nigeria because of lack of political will. The state actors are afraid of speaking out. They are afraid of speaking out because of the election of 2027. They're afraid of speaking out because of the election of 2031. Our politicians must get it right. They must prioritize the peace and security of their community and speak truth to power. Give blame to whoever you need to blame and tell the truth at all times until we begin to get it right. The issue of good governance is also very key. When there's adequate infrastructure, when there is a lack of poverty in the land, of course, crisis will naturally be minimized. When people are less busy, they will engage more in doing evil. So when you engage the young people, when you engage the community with infrastructure, with projects, with economic empowerment, I'm sure the community will also not want to have issues. So the bulk lies within the local government, the state government, in tackling any communal crisis to ensure that it doesn't escalate to another community. The issue that is happening in Okoma today and its neighboring community may be happening in Bomadi and other communities within Delta State. if you don't take it lightly. So you need to address this issue squarely. And one thing that is key to addressing communal clashes is government to remain neutral. That government should stick to its stance of being government, to remain neutral and not take side with any party. Whoever is wrong, they must give a person blame appropriately.
Earlier on, Mr. Ejeh, I asked you about a motive of, a possible motive that could have been behind these killings. And, looking at it again from another angle would be that on a good day, looking at it from a security perspective that you represent, what could have, again I ask, what could have instigated these killings on the soldiers? Could they have, I don't know, could they have attacked, it appears that, or what do you think? Could there have been an attack from the soldiers or thereabout? What information are you getting as to, what could have prompted this kind of response by the youth?
This is what I'm getting. Normally, wherever there is conflict, there is communal conflict. There are criminals who are always willing to attack the security forces so that they don't come and distract them. And basically, what happened in this case is one of the issues. The soldiers that went in there first were ambushed because they were coming to cause peace. Who knows whether the criminals thought that the soldiers were coming to take side one of the community, or sometimes they give fake information. People just give fake information. These soldiers that are coming are going to side this community. Some that are coming are going to side. I'm just speculating. I don't have that fact, but I'm sure soldiers were just ambushed. From what I gather reliably, from what I could gather, is that these soldiers were just ambushed. If the soldiers attacked the community first, or if they attacked these youth, I'm sure they would have overpowered the youth. But from the look of things, they actually run into ambush and they were killed in this ambush. And they called for reinforcement. The commanding officer was also coming and ran into the same ambush. One of the things we have to be careful about is that some people may be asking, our soldiers are not professional, couldn't they have seen it coming? This is the coastal area. These are areas that are very coastal. You have to be careful. The terrain, you can't know the terrain like this criminal, no matter how trained you are. You can't do the training like criminals, like these criminals who live in that community, who were born in that community, who knows every creek in that community. So they could stay from anywhere and take you out. So no matter how professional you are, except you are coming with an aircraft, if you are coming with barefoot or with a vehicle or boat, they could take you out from anywhere. This is a coastal area. You must cross through sea to get to this community. You must pass through creek to get to this community. So it's actually difficult to be more prepared than this criminal. So the motive could have been criminal, number one. The motive could have been trying to stop the security men from coming to stop the conflict. There are several motives that we may not know because we are not in their minds.
And considering the fact that, the JTF operates in that area, because another perspective could have been this was, yes, a security issue that, ordinarily the police and its affiliates could have handled without the intervention of the army. Or are you convinced that, the military was justified to swing into action in this case?
I am 100% justified that the military was justified to swing into action. That area, if 100 policemen go there, they would have killed all of them. I'm assuring you of this. The Nigerian crisis today has taken a dimension where when people say the military should go back to the barrack, it's very laughable. Our police have not been equipped to face the current challenges in Nigeria. Our policemen are not really prepared in terms of logistics, in terms of training to face the current internal security. I disagree with people when they say the military should go back to the barrack for now. Yes, the military belongs to the barrack, but for now, they are not right for going to the barrack because we have a lot of internal security issues. So the military are justified to have gone to that community to keep peace. Some of these issues mean the superior power of the military. The military lost 16 people. Who knows whether the police would have lost 100 personnel? I'm not trying to degrade the police, but that's the obvious truth. The military are more combatant trained and more battle trained to fight in this terrain. We all know this fact. So if military could lose 16 persons, I wonder how many people police would have lost. Police don't have sufficient equipment. They are underfunded. They are undertrained. They don't have the required logistics to face some kind of challenges we have in this country today. So until federal government begin to fund police appropriately, the previous government abandoned our security agencies. I make this reference anytime I speak on television, and I will hold the federal government, the former government very responsible for abandoning security. They just paid the service for security. Ashwati took over a body of security in Nigeria. So I think Nigeria needs to give him time to address this issue. Security issues are not issues to just wake up from sleep and address. They are deep-rooted. You need a concerted effort to overcome them.
Okay, so will you agree or will you advocate for a community-centered policing to address these kinds of trend?
Center policing, I agree, because every community should police its space, because the people of that community knows the space very well. But one thing that I would disagree with the issue of state police for now. We are not right for state police. Have we finished funding the federal police? I don't think so. I appreciate the concern of some governors who want state police. Of course, they want to be in charge of the police, but do they know the cost of one AK-47 in the open market? Do they know the cost of one drone? Do they know the cost of some of this equipment that the police need? Have we finished paying civil servants in our state? Have we finished solving some of the issues in our state? Who is going to be in charge of the control and command of the state police and federal police when created? These are my questions. But for community policing, community-oriented intelligence, community intelligence and policing, I agree, so that they can provide intelligence to the federal police and the security agencies to tackle insecurity. I perfectly agree. So the community must own its security. They must own the entire process of securing their land.
And in this case, what good would community police have, brought us in this case? At least, to join in keeping the peace before it escalated to this magnitude.
I think the community police would have provided the needed intelligence even before this incident happened. It wouldn't have happened if we have effective community police, because they would have nipped the issue in body. What caused the conflict wouldn't have happened at all if we have effective community police, instead of allowing to escalate to the level where soldiers were going for peace mission and they'll be killed. If we have effective community police, I am sure the crisis wouldn't have happened in the first place. It would have been nipped in the bud. And even where it happened, effective intelligence would have been given to the security agencies on how to go about the conflict.
Still in the line of, community policing, specifically now, let's talk about the roles of community leaders. We have seen, we said in the news earlier in the day that the community leaders are finding, a way, their own recipe to douse the tensions between the warring communities. But in terms of culpability, I know you spoke about, the larger picture earlier on, as in the security forces need to really widen the net of their investigation between the youth that perpetrated these acts. But getting the cooperation of community traditional leaders, what are your thoughts?
I think that is very key, because, like I said, the traditional leaders will play a very critical role in trying to solve this issue. But I think they would have done that long ago. They would have been doing that long ago. They shouldn't have allowed the conflict to have escalated in this. But be that as it may, it's never late than that. It's never late. They should go ahead to ensure that peace is restored to the two communities, and they must also help the security agencies, particularly the Nigerian Army, to arrest these culprits, because they can't tell me they don't know these boys. These boys are not spirit. The killers of our soldiers are not spirit. The community leaders, the traditional rulers, must bring out those boys. They must declare them wanted in the Delta community immediately. Those boys are known. These criminals are known. They must go all out to ensure that they are arrested quickly. That is the only way that me as a person can exonerate them. Because some of them are complicit. Some of them are actually the funders of these militias that kill our military men. So I cannot excuse them until they expose these criminals that kill our beloved soldiers.
Will life be normal, or how soon do you expect normalcy? Because these youth are known, as you say, these perpetrators rather are known, as you say, but reports say that the community in question is virtually deserted as we speak. How crucial is the need for normalcy to prevail, while work continues to unravel the killers?
For me, I think life should only be normal when these culprits are arrested. The community must be ransacked. When I mean ransacked, it must be ransacked in total, in compliance with international standard, human rights standard, to ensure that these criminals are arrested. So we must ensure that...
Right. Demystify what you mean by ransacking the community in search of the killers.
They should ransack all the creeks. They should go to every compound, ensure without killing anybody, without burning any houses. They should ensure that these criminals are looked for, because they may not have gone far from the community. They may still remain within those creeks. So all the creeks must be ransacked. In fact, as a matter of fact, civilians should vacate that community for now. they should vacate to avoid any damage, because in every warfare, in every this kind of action, you can't excuse some level of collateral damage. It's possible. So in their own interest, I think they should vacate that community for now and let the soldiers do their work. Let the soldiers face the criminals squarely.
If you're saying they should ransack, how do you think they will find these criminals?
Of course, they'll find them by ransacking. They are professionals. They know what to do.
But because for all we know, they would have left the community long before now.
But they will still be within Delta State, if at all. I'm sure even if they are gone, they'll still be within. Like I said, people know them. Let's not pretend about this. We may be on national television. These boys do not operate in isolation. Some people know them. Some community leaders know them. Some actors know them in that community. So in ransacking this community, when they put on heat on this on the community, they will bring out the perpetrator of this conflict, of this act.
But
they must bring it.
Despite the fact that the community know them, do you think they want to divulge the information, knowing that everyone will be scared for their life as well?
That will be their business if they don't divulge information. That will absolutely be their business. For me, they should divulge the information. They should find a way to communicate the information. Nobody is going to expose them. The Nigerian Army is very professional. They have a way of communicating in the Nigerian Army. They have a channel to communicate in the Nigerian Army, the boys that carry out this act. So if they shy away from divulging information, that means they are complicit. Nobody should pretend about this. If they don't divulge information as to the probability of where these boys who carry out this act, it means they are complicit. This is my position.
Looking at the community, it's more or less a fishing community, so to say, and it's located in the hidden part, in outer part of possibly Delta State and all of that. But my own concern is about the safety of lives and the property there, and of course, in speaking with the soldiers or speaking with the community members in finding these perpetrators, don't you think it will be more problems for a lot of them?
I do not think so. Like I said, there's a channel of communication. The soldiers are not spirits; they are human beings, and the community exactly. There's a government in that community. As small as it is, there's a representative of government that they know how to get across to the hierarchy of the Nigerian Army where information will be secured. They know how to get to the hierarchy of the DSS where information will be secured. So let's not pretend about this thing. They know how to get across to the Nigerian Army and the security forces that information will be secured. They must expose these people. For me, it's the president, the commander-in-chief, the chief of defense staff, the army hierarchy must hold the community responsible. These boys don't operate in isolation. The community know that. As a matter of fact, they are their militias, they are their warriors. So that's the only way they should have peace in that community. For me, that's the only way they should have the peace in that community. If they don't expose them, it therefore means they are complicit. The army should occupy that community, even though they should respect international convention on human rights. They should ensure that no life is lost. They should ensure that no property is destroyed. But they must occupy that community until the community produces those boys. Those boys don't operate in isolation. They didn't come from the moon. They are not spirits.
This issue of trust deficit, Melvin Ejeh, I don't know, but from what I see now, I think it's also a crucial time in our nationhood, trust deficit, or the level of trust between the people and security forces. How do you think this can impact on the military's operations now? Because this work, as you have said, cannot be done alone, just by intelligence. There is also the need for cooperation from residents to unravel this mystery. So what do you think?
Let me give you an example. If you carry your phone, hide the number and call the commander or the military boss and give information, how will he know you're the person that called? If you tell him, oh, Mr. So and so people are the people that carry out this, how is he going to know? So let's not pretend about it. I insist, because I'm in the field, I know that there's always a way to get across the security agencies with valuable information. If we're serious about preventing crime, because we cannot continue to pretend about this whole thing. No crime happens without the active, the implied or expressed consent of the community actors or the traditional rulers or the key actors of that community. So I am insisting that the burden of producing these killers lies squarely with the communities. The state government, the local government, the world headquarters must work closely with the military to ensure that these perpetrators are gotten. Until they get these perpetrators, honestly, that community should remain deserted. The military must occupy that place until they get these killers. They must occupy the entire creeks to ensure that these killers, this, mind you, the people that are killed, my dear, they are fathers, they are uncles, they have children, some in schools, they have wives, young wives. So we're talking about human beings who are out there protecting our lives. We're talking about human beings who are out there serving as a front line to Nigeria. You just kill them in cold blood. What is their offense? Where did they commit offense? Where did they go wrong? Is it a crime to protect our country? We're already battling with poor welfare for them. That we're advocating for better welfare for Nigeria. We are begging Asiwaju to increase their welfare. We're begging as well to increase their funding. Ironically, let me shock you. In the past 3 months, our military men's allowance have not been paid. In the last 3 months, they have not been paid their RC allowances. They have not been given their allowances. So these people are already going through a lot. And you are now killing them while trying to defend the community. What kind of barbarism is that? And you expect them to be civil? In as much as I will not advocate for any human rights violation, the military naturally won't be civil. But I'm praying that they do their best to remain that they act within the.
But why will the allowances even be denied them, especially at this crucial time of security challenges, and with the budget spending, increased budget spending, and so many other issues?
Let me give you why. Because so that as I make this point, let me make it very clear. Ashwaju made a lot of financial deficit in this country. He made a lot of nonsense that was done by the previous government, where monies were borrowed from this country. Our 10 years crude supply or more were used as collateral to some international community, international oil dealer. We have borrowed money so much that even our great-grandchildren won't be able to pay. So he met a country that was not working. He met a country that was practically on the life support. What do you want him to do? He has made budget. This is the first time the Nigerian security will be getting about 5 point something trillion. That's a very wonderful budget. In as much as the budget is much, funding it is actually taking a gradual process. So, but it's on the way. I'm aware. I have privileged information that a lot is being done. Raising this money to ensure that this budget is funded is being done by the president. The salaries are being paid, other allowances are being paid, other capital projects are being given to them. But I'm talking of RC allowances, that operational allowances. It's coming. It's also gradually coming. But it is not the president's fault. It's not the chief of service chief's fault. The money is not there. And they will manufacture money to fund our military. But the president is trying to get on his feet. He's trying to find another source to prioritize security in this country. They may not like this information I'm giving you, but I will say it anywhere. The president is doing his best, but he's not going to manufacture the money from anywhere. He needs to get money from the coffers. And the burden he met was so much that there's no money anywhere. The country was practically on oxygen before he took over.
Okay, so in all of this now, what do you think this kind of situation will do to the mindsets of the soldiers? Of course, just a quick, just make it quick so we can go to the next segment.
Quickly, I think it's actually a little bit demoralizing, but I think, like I assure you that they are in high spirits and they are going to, the president is working towards ensuring that everything works for them. One thing I want to advise the federal government is that they should prioritize security. Channels fund from any project to security. They should fund our security, but until you have peace and security, every other development will not thrive. They must fund our armed forces. They must fund our Nigerian police. They must fund the DSS. They must fund every security agency in the country to get it right. Until we have peace, investors will start return. Until we have peace, until our roads are safe, we won't have better country. Until our land, our farms are safe, we won't have good food. We'll still have food shortage. So I think they should prioritize security in this country. Thank you very much.
All right, Melvin Ejeh, we thank you very much for your contributions on TVC Breakfast this morning. Many thanks indeed.
Thank you very much.
Right, have a great day. All right, and there is more on TVC Breakfast after this break. Stay with us. Okay. Bro, go back to the news, please.